Welcome to Whatsoever More or Less. My name is Jason, and I have a quick thought for you today. This quick thought is a simple one regarding Iran and what have you. And we needed to do it during the Biden administration. We need to do it during the Trump administration. As a matter of fact, the exhortation came in 2001. It's coming other times too, but 2001, President Oaks gave the talk defending our divinely inspired Constitution, which, if you look at most of the things he pointed to as threats to the Constitution, unfortunately, it's pretty easy to identify those things as things that the left side of politics was doing. There's a few of them that could be identified the other way, and this is why we shouldn't prioritize party over Constitution and Scriptures and the exhortations of the prophets, right? Never. We shouldn't. And the Lord has said He inspired the Constitution, not the Republican Party, not the Federalist Papers, not the Democrat Party, not the letters between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. The Constitution itself and the Declaration of Independence. Apparently, those people that signed the Declaration of Independence had done their job so well that they were ordained high priests and what have you. George Washington and Columbus, Benjamin Franklin, and then some of the others had just had a chance to show up to this St. George Temple and say, "Hey, get our work done, please. We did our job." That was their job, apparently. Okay. Anyhow, I'm getting distracted again. We're supposed to be hopeful for this nation. I can relate to maybe Moroni towards the end of the Book of Mormon, where he prays, but he prays without hope. Or it's Mormon that prays without hope, without faith, because of the nature of the people. And I get it, and maybe that's true. But still the same. Do we want to have our garments free from the stains of the other people's sins? We got to pray for them. We got to try to spread the truth. The Constitution's inspired. Read it. The powers granted are powers of a more perfect union of states. There's no local governance powers whatsoever granted in the Constitution. There's no family governance powers granted in the Constitution. It is straight up a union of states. It's a very simple, consistent with the doctrine of the Lord, and it's hard to amend it. The Lord would not have endorsed something easy to amend, because He has told us again and again the proper role of government is very limited. And if it's easy to add new powers, if it's easy to get new things approved, that's inconsistent with the doctrine of the Lord, and so obviously He wouldn't have approved it. It doesn't take two brain cells to rip together hardly to figure that out. But we need to pray for our leaders. President Benson did say the Constitution will be saved, or he has faith that it will be, but it will not be saved in Washington. And that's our last in time. The last in time that we had someone at the highest position in the church speak authoritatively on the subject, that was President Benson. And it's consistent with prophecies given also by Wilford Woodruff and John Taylor and others out there. You might want to study 3 Nephi 7. That might be relevant. But still the same. It's besides the point. Personal preparedness should not change the fact that we pray for those people, that we pray for the right thing to happen around the world in general. President Trump, you could say the generic rule of he inherited this mess from the previous administration is ridiculous. That's such an understatement. He inherited this mess from the Civil War. He inherited this mess from the Progressive era in the 1890s when they started adding the administrative state. He inherited this mess from the even further progressive era with FDR, and from Thomas Jefferson, when there was a war going on in Europe, he created the Embargo Act. He didn't want Americans even kind of getting caught up in that, right? Which a lot of people complain about it. But the Constitution wasn't written to guarantee a successful economy. It doesn't say that. It says general welfare and common defense. In other words, he always said you need to be more agrarian. That's really what we needed to be. But anyhow, Thomas Jefferson had the common sense to say, guys, don't go over there. During World War I, though, apparently our ships just wanted to keep going right on over there and doing all the trading and stuff. And then when one of our ships got shot, we said, oh, that's an excuse, we're going to join in the war. Anyhow, that's where the mess started. President Trump is stuck with these trends that have developed since then. Since the exertion of powers not granted in the Constitution. And the exercise of powers for purposes not approved of in the Constitution. The exercise of powers by people that aren't even constitutionally authorized. In other words, the administrative state and the Supreme Court does not have constitutional authorization to be part of Article 6, Clause 2. They never will have it. Maybe they will, but you got to convince 3/4 of the states to get on board with that. Maybe, but I don't see it happening. If it does, I don't think it would be a good thing. Everything else in the Constitution that's inspired goes through either a bicameral Congress and the president, or if it's a lesser power, it goes through just the president and one house of Congress. But that doesn't have the power of the purse, doesn't have the power of local governance or anything, or internal governance or anything like that behind it, and or it goes through both houses of Congress and in 3/4 of the states, plus both houses at the federal level. So how in the heck does a single Supreme Court simple majority match that? It doesn't. So, but anyhow, I'm getting distracted again. Pray for your leaders. Pray for them. Yes, Trump inherited this mess. Biden inherited a mess. Obama inherited a mess. Bush inherited a mess, because the mess has existed since a long time ago. And that's the honest truth. And so we should pray for them. And because the foundation is still there. It's still here. We still claim the same Constitution. We haven't fully apostatized from it. We haven't fully rejected it. So, and that's my thought. Thanks for listening, you guys. So pray for your leaders. See ya.